So I made an entire video and then picked up my camera and it was like, oh, it wasn't recording. So take two. Only my window saw take one. So several weeks ago, Sherry posted a question that I have taken several weeks to respond to, but I am responding now, and I wanted to answer her question. So the question was, I wanted to know how you got rid of your scale and your obsession with it, if you did, and how you've learned to accept yourself as a person rather than a number. What advice can you give me to throw mine out, or at least not let it control me? I'm having a really hard time with it. Please make a vid. So, basically, I have not used a scale on a regular basis in, like, probably 12 years. So, a little, like, background on that. I'm 25. When I was 11 and 12, that's when I was borderline anorexic, and my eating disorder really kicked in from just emotional eating throughout my life and bad body image to a full-blown eating disorder. And I would weigh myself every single day, every morning and every night. Every morning before I got in the shower, and every night, you know, before I put on my pajamas. And I was very obsessive about it and used that as a way to deal with, like, okay, I did well at whatever. In 8th grade, when I was 13, I started gaining weight because I stopped not eating. I started eating again, compulsively eating and binging, and then I started binging and purging and taking diet pills. So during that time, I think part of it was I didn't want to watch the numbers rise anymore, which is not a good way to stop using a scale. But this is just me explaining the story and the chronology of it all. In high school, while I was very badly bulimic, I started seeing an eating disorder specialist, and he would make me weigh in every single session, but would never let me see the number. So the scale became a thing of shame for me. That was one thing. The other thing was growing up, you know, every year at the doctor, you have to be weighed. And I was a little overweight for my size, according to the doctor's chart growing up. So the scale became associated with this tremendous shame for me, and my doctor, like, looking at the chart and being like, you should be here, but you're here, you should be there, but you're here, like, and so I just feel like from that, I just realized how futile the scale was. I wanted nothing to do with it. And that was, and again, then it was about shame. So I wouldn't get on a scale because it was associated for me with shame and pain. In time, as I began to recover, I had no desire to deal with the scale because I realized it was futile. It was not about the numbers, it was about how I feel. And so as I've gone through recovery, I use how I feel as a way to determine where my body is at. That's the communication I have, right? Because what an eating disorder is avoiding communicating with your body and using food and self-destructive behaviors as a means for communication, as an outlet. But the point is you want to feel your feelings, even the ones that hurt. And it's sitting with those feelings that allow you to understand your body and to have a communication with your body and yourself and your mind and your spirit, all of that, right? So I have no desire to ever use a scale because I'd rather communicate with my body. And if I notice in the mirror and notice in how I'm feeling that maybe I fluctuated a little bit in 1 week because I was overeating a little more than normal, I know to have a conversation with my body and with myself to check in with my emotions, and I have faith that in time, you know, I'll let go of that bloating, or maybe it's in my mind anyway, right? So I hope that helps, and just I realize that the numbers don't matter, and I don't deal with scales. I get on a scale once a year at the doctor's office, and like it doesn't faze me, it doesn't bother me. It's just a number, right? Like my body image, my body structure, how I'm built, my experiences that I've had have nothing to do with a number. My body can't be compared to anybody else's because you know, like, I've grown at a different rate than someone else. I developed at a different weight. I went through puberty at a different moment in time than someone else that's supposed to be compared to my body weight and height. So that's how I've let go of that obsession. And it happened a long time ago for different reasons, so I hope that in explaining the whole story it makes sense. But the main way I came to let go of all the number stuff was just realizing that they mean nothing, that it's about feeling, and once we start to feel, there's no reason to use these number criterias to explain where we're at. And yeah, I hope that helps. I would love to keep dialoguing about that, so I hope that addresses your question. Anyone else who wants to talk more about this or has other questions, always, I'm open ears. So I hope that helps. And yeah, thanks. And thanks for your patience.